So what I have in front of me today, the Kilchoman small batch. This is batch number 7 of a US exclusive release. I'm gonna unpack all of this and we are gonna taste it starting now. My whiskey journey has taken me to Scotland and back. I've explored whiskey education, tastings, and distilleries from Islay to Speyside. And now my journey continues here, with you, on Whiskey Whereabouts. So what exactly are we dealing with here? This is just a limited release from Kilchoman. It's a 50% ABV whiskey, and like I said, it is a US exclusive 1,278 bottles in the batch. It also has a bit of an unusual cask configuration in that we've got 70% bourbon matured whiskey, 5% sherry matured whiskey, and 25% S.T.R. as it is described on the label. What does that mean? S.T.R. stands for shaved, toasted, recharred. It means that the casks have been rejuvenated before they've been used to mature whiskey. And what kind of casks were they? They are Douro Valley red wine casks from Portugal. This is not port. I don't have any experience with this type of wine, but I understand it to be a dry red wine, similar to Bordeaux. So we basically have 25% red wine casks into this vatting of this non-age statement Kilchoman. And that's not unusual for Kilchoman. They're a young distillery, so their whole core range is non-age statements. And generally, we feel pretty good about a non-age statement Kilchoman because they've checked the rest of the boxes. They're going to be 46%. They're not going to color. It's non-chill filtered. And they sort of have this crafty, artisanal type of approach across the board. It's a farm distillery. They grow some of their barley there. They do part of everything on site. They have floor maltings for part of their needs. And they have a reputation now as having pretty solid non-age statement whiskeys. I have the Senec here just to compare the color. These are non-color added whiskeys. And the ratio on the casks is different. 70% over here on the bourbon. As we talked about, 25% on the red wine cask, 5% on the sherry. This is the opposite. This is going to be a 70% Oloroso sherry matured whiskey with the remaining 30% bourbon. And you can see the dramatic color difference. We have no way of knowing how old the whiskeys that went into these vattings and any more details about the casks, but you can still see the difference between the colors. Okay, so now on to the nose. This whiskey's been open for about a week, and what I'm getting is a nice healthy sense of leather and a darker sort of cherry fruit sweet, along with plenty of honey. It is a little woody. You've got an oak component, and it has just a light sort of dusting maybe of just flakes of ash in the air. Not much from the peat yet on the nose. Nice and sweet. That fruit is a little bit warmer. The peat is sort of coming in a little bit on the palate. It's like strawberry filling, like tart filling. Still warm, you know, nice, really round, rich, honey, you know, a little minty, not hugely smoky on the palate, much more forward with the sweetness. When the finish hits, that's when the peat hits. Nice big bloom of that peat smoke. That fruit runs straight through it. Now, at each stage, it's a little different character. And here, like a tart berry, like a blackberry or not quite ripe blueberry, something like that, mixing in with that big presence of the peat and a little bit of that bitter from the oak, not in an off way, in a way that's kind of combining and bouncing in with that sweet sort of fruit flavor. The honey is really not there in a overt way. The sort of ghost of it lingers around after sort of the finish, but it is a nice, very pleasant, sweet drinking without being too sweet, peated whiskey with some nuance. So let's see what happens when we hit it with a little bit of the water. This is 50% whiskey, it drinks pretty easy for 50. You can certainly drink it neat. But let's see what we get. And what I'm getting on the nose is more of the oak, less of the honey, more of the fruit. So I'm getting more of the cherry, less of the honey. It's gonna be sort of darker, more of that wine influence, less so than the bourbon cask influence. Well, it's much more sippable with the water, and it is sweeter on the finish with the water. So I think that makes this a lot more approachable whiskey with the water. It is still the same pattern, that smoke plume when you get to the finish. It's a little less dramatic now, and what I'm left with, I'm getting more of the honey on the finish. Yeah, solidly blackberry, blueberry now. On that finish, more so than what I was getting with that tartness before. You know, I think it's certainly easier drinking and more mellow with a little bit of water. I think it's good both ways. There's a little bit of a more complex sort of nuance to it. Neat. I took a chance on this whiskey at $70. I've seen it really, it's really $90 bottle online right now in most locations. And I'd say it's a 4.5 glass bottle at 70 and probably a 4 at 90. So I guess it's a 4.25 glasses for the Kilchoman US Special Edition batch number 7. And if you found this review and this video helpful, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the future videos on the channel.